Welcome to Daily Ad Brief. I'm Christina Daves, your host of More to Media, where we dive in on all things media, advertising, digital. Today we're headed to Uniontown, Ohio to meet with Matt Bailey of SiteLogic. Welcome, Matt.
Thank you, Christina. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited. So I looked through your website, and the thing that makes my head spin is data. And I know that's what you do. So tell us, how do we figure it out? There's so much data we can use, just as a small business owner, small to medium size that doesn't have the budgets of the big, huge companies. What should we be doing and what should we be looking at?
All right. The first thing to do is get out of the data. Stop looking at the numbers. Stop looking at it. Okay. The first thing to do is go to your whiteboard. And number one is, what's the question? First, define what you want to know. And this should be based on the type of marketing you're doing, your strategy, and how you're going to go about marketing, and then the tactics that you're using. What do you want to measure? Do you want to measure leads? Do you want to measure sales? Do you want to measure a cost per customer? What is it that is driving your business? And that's what you have to define first. So any data activity is first a business defining activity. You've got to know what you want to measure before you go find the data.
Okay, that's fascinating. So do you recommend, and I guess it probably really depends, but should you be looking at your website data, email data, social media data?
Really, everything. I equate all the data that we have available to walking into a library with tens of thousands of volumes on the shelves, okay? And we can walk around and say, wow, this is a huge library and how beautiful it is. And look at these books over here, they're beautiful. And that's what happens when we go into analytics and look at data without a goal. We're just appreciating the sites. We're appreciating the tables and look how colorful they are. But when we decide, here's what I want to know, here's what I want to figure out. Here's a great example. If I'm working with a company and their number one goal is to increase leads, well, then we're going to look at all of the tactics, everything that you're doing that increases leads. We're going to look at your content, your website, your email, your marketing. But the entire goal of that measurement activity will be looking to see what channel, what method produces the most leads. And it's pretty straightforward. However, if another company says, I want to measure and I want to reduce my cost per lead, I want to be more efficient in my marketing, that changes everything. Because now I'm not just looking at the channels that produce the most leads, I'm looking at the ones that produce efficient leads. And so I'm going to be much more focused on the cost per lead, cost per click, and looking at those and comparing how much it costs me channel to channel to channel, but with a financial eye. So whereas the first business is all about numbers and just more quantities of leads, now I'm measuring the financial aspect of leads. And so it's two very different approaches to what I'm going to measure.
That's where you go back to that initial question.
Exactly. Absolutely.
All right. Something I saw on your website and I was like, when I interview people, it's like, what's the thing that's my aha moment when I'm looking through your stuff? What is ad fraud? And what do we have to worry about?
Ad fraud takes on a number of things we need to worry about. Number one, simple ad fraud is really created when there's a couple ways that people can do it. They can scrape content from legitimate news or publishing websites, and then they can create fake websites from all of the scraped content and then put ads all over it, and then put those sites on the exchange. And so in a way, they can steal away people that are searching for information. They find this site and they get just pummeled with ads. Well, another form is, instead of waiting for people to come, I can populate it with bots. I can create a site, put a lot of ads on it, and create a software program that will just go and repetitively load the page and reload it over and over and over. And what happens is the people that set up that page, that set up the account, they're getting all the money, and they're siphoning off money that should go to legitimate publishers, that should be for ads on legitimate websites. So it's a huge problem right now. And basically, bots can emulate human behavior. And only really in understanding analytics can you spot this bot behavior and take steps to prevent it.
Okay, that is so fascinating. I'd love to have you back for a segment just to talk about that. Wow,
Sure.
and it goes so fast, our 5 minutes. Thank you so much for joining us, Matt, and sharing amazing information with our viewers.
All right, Christina, my pleasure. Thank you.
So to learn more about Matt and SiteLogic, head over to Daily Ad Brief. I'm Christina Daves, your host of More to Media, and I'll see you next time.